Hello everyone, I am Dr. Munish Kumar Bharadwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU, and today we will discuss about the properties of hardened concrete. As you know, properties of concrete can be divided into two stages: properties of concrete in plastic stage and properties of concrete in hardened stage. Properties of concrete in plastic stage we have discussed in our module Fresh Concrete, in which we covered workability, segregation and bleeding. Now in properties of concrete in hardened stage, we will be look into the strength, durability, impermeability, dimensional changes of the concrete. As far as the strength is concerned, strength of concrete is of four types basically: compressive strength, tensile strength, bond strength and shear strength. These four strengths are of importance for concrete. Let us begin with compressive strength. What is compressive strength? The load which causes the failure of a specimen per unit area of cross section in uniaxial compression under given rate of loading is the compressive strength of the concrete. It is expressed in MPa or Newton per mm square. Quality of concrete may be specified by 28 days compressive strength of concrete, which is used to decide the grade of concrete. This you know. Now what are the factors that affect the strength of the concrete? The strength of hardened concrete depends on the structure of hardened cement paste, first of all. Then water cement ratio, gel space ratio, effective water in the mix, aggregate shape and the texture, richness of the mix, age of concrete, maturity of concrete, maximum size of aggregate. These are the factors that affect the strength of concrete. Let us first begin with the water cement ratio. Water cement ratio is the most important parameter which dictates the pore structure of hydrated cement paste. In case of moist curing, water cement ratio above 0.38 will produce capillary voids. Higher the water cement ratio, more the capillary voids. With water cement ratio less than 0.38, no capillary pores can exist. But with water cement ratio less than 0.38, there will always remain some cement unhydrated. And this unhydrated cement particles, however, are stronger and well-behaved particles than hydrated gel particles, and therefore their presence in lieu of hydrated gel particles in fact increases strength of the paste. This phenomena can be observed till quantity of hydrated gel is just enough to coat all the unhydrated cement particles, and at the same time full compaction can be achieved so that no entrapped air is left due to ineffective compaction. Strength can be monotonously increased with reduction in water cement ratio provided full compaction can be achieved. If compaction cannot be achieved fully, even though we avoid capillary voids by reducing water cement ratio, we introduce entrapped air instead. Means the entrapped air will be introduced in the concrete. The presence of these entrapped air voids in concrete greatly reduces its strength. How much? 5% of voids can lower the strength by as much as 35%, and 2% voids can result in a drop of strength of more than 10%. So this is the effect of the entrapped air on the strength of the concrete. Now about water cement ratio, we consider the Abraham's law, which we discussed in the fresh concrete module also. So what does it say? For fully compacted concrete, the strength of concrete is inversely proportional to the water cement ratio. Means here the strength is K1 upon K2 power W by C. W by C is water cement ratio. This is the Abraham's law. K1 and K2 are two empirical constants In practice, fully compacted means that the hardened concrete contains about 1% of entrapped air voids only. This is the meaning of the fully compacted. Abraham in his relation ignored the effect of entrapped air on strength. So this was the limitation of the Abraham's law. But this limitation was taken care of by Farad. In his law, what does he say? Farad incorporated the entrapped air voids and given this relationship S equal to K C upon C plus A the whole square. C, E and A are the absolute volumes of cement, water and air respectively, and K is an empirical constant. So this formula is given by the Farad, where the entrapped air voids are incorporated. Volume of voids in concrete is affected by water cement ratio and degree of compaction both. This is the graph showing the relationship between the strength and the water cement ratio. This graph we discussed in fresh concrete module also. So from here you can see that with the increase on x-axis water cement ratio is there, on y-axis compressive strength is there. With the increase in water cement ratio, compressive strength is falling. So this figure indicates that at a very low water cement ratio, the water cement ratio rule ceases, as at such low water cement ratio compaction is not possible. It also seems that mixes which are very low water cement ratio and extremely high cement content, something 5000 kg per meter cube and above, exhibit decrease in strength, particularly when large size aggregate is used. Thus, at later ages, in this type of mix, what happens? A lower water cement ratio would not lead to a higher strength. This behavior may be due to stresses induced by shrinkage, whose restraint by aggregate particle causes cracking of cement paste or a loss of the cement aggregate bond. For a given cement and acceptable aggregate, strength is influenced by the following factors. What are these? Ratio of cement to mixing water, ratio of cement to aggregate, grading, surface texture, shape, strength and stiffness of aggregate particles. Also, maximum size of aggregate. Strength of concrete is mostly influenced by the volume of all voids in concrete, namely entrapped air, capillary pores and gel pores. Now let us look at the effect of gel space ratio. The Abraham's expression relating strength with water cement ratio does not include many parameters. For example, strength at any water cement ratio is not unique as indicated by Abraham, but it depends on first degree of hydration of the cement and its chemical and physical properties. Second, temperature at which hydration had taken place. The third one is air content of the concrete. Next is change in the effective water cement ratio and also formation of capillary channels due to bleeding. So these are the factors which affect the strength. The gel space ratio is defined to be the ratio of volume of hydrated gel, including gel pores, to the volume of space to accommodate these products. This is the gel space ratio. This space will be equal to the volume of the cement which has hydrated plus the volume of mixing water plus any air void. So this is the total space. The volume of hydrated product, that is solid volume of gel plus gel pores, is about 2.06 times more than the volume of the cement hydrated. Here you see the relationship between compressive strength of concrete and gel space ratio. As you see, with the increase in gel space ratio on x-axis, on y-axis you will see the strength of concrete is increasing. Means more the gel, more the strength of the concrete. Now let us see the effect of effective water in the mix. How the effective water in the mix affects the strength of the concrete. Quantity of water in the concrete mix is the sum of quantity of water added during mixing and the water from wet aggregate used in the concrete. Because our aggregate may be wet, it may not be in the surface saturated dry condition. If it is in surface saturated dry condition, then quantity of water in the mix will be equal to the quantity of water added during the mixing only. So if aggregate is taken in surface saturated dry condition, SSD, it means that aggregates neither add any water to the mix nor they absorb water from the mix. But most of the time the aggregates will either be in dry condition or in moist condition holding lot of water on its surface, that is soaked with rainwater as they are stockpiled in open space during the rainy season. So from rains, its surface is always wet. So in SSD condition, aggregate will absorb water from the mix, while in moist condition, it will contribute water to the mix. So effective water is the water in the mix after aggregate has come to surface saturated dry condition after contributing its surface water to the mix. So for calculating the strength, effective water content is to be taken into consideration, not the mixing water. So this point you must keep in mind. Now let us discuss the aggregate shape and the texture. What is their effect? Concrete specimen subjected to uniaxial compression develops vertical cracking at a load of about 60 to 75% of the ultimate load. Formation of the crack largely depends on shape and the texture of the aggregate. A smoother and more rounded aggregate lower the cracking load, while rougher the texture and more angular the aggregate, higher is the cracking load. It is because of interlocking between the aggregate and mechanical bond between the aggregate and the cement paste. It is interesting to note that the flexural and direct tensile strength is affected in the same way as vertical cracking load in uniaxial compression. Means if the vertical cracking load is low, then these strengths will all be low. If vertical cracking load is high, then these flexural and the direct tensile strength will be high. So there exists a unique relationship between vertical cracking stress and flexural and tensile strength, which is independent of shape and texture of aggregate. Here you see the relationship between flexural strength and compressive stress at vertical cracking for concrete with different shape and texture of aggregate. So different shape and texture of aggregate you see, rounded aggregates are there, angular aggregates are there, which are shown by the circular dots, triangular dots. And you see that when the compressive stress at vertical cracking is increasing, the flexural strength is increasing. Vertical cracking stress, flexural strength and tensile strength are affected by shape and texture of aggregate. Ultimate compressive strength is comparatively less affected by shape and texture of aggregate, especially the texture. Hence, the relationship between flexural and ultimate compressive strength depends on the type of aggregate used. Overall influence of type of coarse aggregate on the strength of concrete varies in magnitude and depend on water cement ratio of the mix. For water cement ratio below 0.4, use of crushed aggregate has resulted in strength up to 38% higher than when gravel is used. With an increase in water cement ratio, the influence of aggregate falls off as the strength of paste itself becomes paramount. In this case, the strength of the paste takes the importance. So at a water cement ratio of 0.65, no difference in the strength of concrete made with crushed rock and gravel has been observed. Now let us see the effect of richness of mix. Richness of the mix can be expressed through the aggregate cement ratio. The aggregate cement ratio may vary generally between 2.5 to 10. 2.5 is taken as very rich and 10 for very lean mix. Means if the aggregate cement ratio is 2.5, means our concrete mix is very rich. If aggregate cement ratio is 10, then our concrete is lean mix. Aggregate cement ratio affects the strength of all medium and high strength concrete, that is those with a strength of about 35 Newton per mm square or more. However, aggregate cement ratio is only a secondary factor in strength of concrete. Primary is water cement ratio. But it has been found for a constant water cement ratio, a leaner mix leads to higher strength. Here you see the influence of aggregate cement ratio on strength of concrete. On x-axis you see the water cement ratio, on y-axis you see the 7 days compressive strength in Newton per mm square. And you see that with increase in water cement ratio, 7 days compressive strength is decreasing for both the cases. Here you see the two cases, aggregate cement ratio 5 and aggregate cement ratio 3. But for aggregate cement ratio 3, you get the higher compressive strength. But in both the cases, with increase in water cement ratio, the compressive strength is decreasing. Reason for such behavior may be attributed to the fact that the total water content per cubic meter of concrete is lower in a leaner mix than in a rich one. As a result, in a leaner mix, the voids form a smaller fraction of the total volume of concrete. It is these voids that have an adverse effect on the strength of concrete. Now, let us see the effect of age of concrete. The relationship as indicated by Abraham is between the strength and water cement ratio, but it is for a particular type of cement and at a particular age at which the strength was determined. Here the two things are kept constant, the type of cement and the age of the concrete. So on the other hand, Joule space ratio rule caters for age and type of cement in its formulation, as total amount of gel formed depends on both age and the type of the cement. The strength gaining mechanism or formation of more gel to fill up the space available is a continuous process, means it goes on. The process starts at the time water is added in the mix. It is faster at initial stage, and with passage of time the same slows down, completing about 80% of strength gaining in 28 days. Means in 28 days concrete gains its 80% of the ultimate strength. Concrete goes on gaining strength after 28 days also, but as it attains about 80% of its ultimate in 28 days. It is customary to assume 28 days strength as full strength of the concrete. Generally, for our design purposes, we take 20 days strength as the full strength of the concrete. Here you see the gain of strength of concrete with age. It is given for 3 water cement ratio, 0.4, 0.6 and 0.8. In every case, you see that 1 day's strength, 3 days strength, 7 days strength and 28 days strength. The strength is increases as the age of concrete is increasing. Any further gain of strength beyond the age of 28 days is regarded merely as contributing to an increase in the factor of safety of the structure. Means we have considered the 28 days strength as the full strength, and whatever beyond this 28 days means 80% plus, that will contribute to the factor of safety, means it will increase the safety of the structure, because we are not considering that in our design. So it is on the safer side. It is difficult to evolve a unique relationship between an early strength like 1 day, 3 day or 7 days strength and the ultimate strength, that is the 28 days strength. However, in normal working range of concrete, 7 days strength may be taken as not less than 2/3 of the 28 days strength. Tests have shown that for concrete made with ordinary Portland cement, the ratio of 28 days to 7 days strength lies generally between 1.3 and 1.7, but the majority of the results fall above 1.5. However, in hot climate, the early strength gain is high and ratio of 28 days to the 7 days strength tends to be lower than in the cooler weather. This is also the case with some lightweight aggregate concrete. Now let us see the effect of maximum size of aggregate. Larger the aggregate size, smaller will be the surface area per unit weight, because with the increase in the size of the aggregate, the surface area decreases. If you break the larger size of aggregate, then the number of pieces will be formed and surface area will increase. Hence, increasing the maximum size of aggregate of a grading will lower the total surface area of the aggregate. This will reduce water requirement of the mix, so that against a constant workability requirement, the water cement ratio can be reduced, which in turn will increase the strength of concrete. On the other hand, if maximum size of aggregate is increased beyond a certain limit, the total surface area may reduce to such an extent that bond between aggregate and paste becomes very small, and volume change in paste due to dry shrinkage causes larger stresses at the interface. So that way you cannot go beyond a certain limit for increasing the size of the aggregate. So too large size of aggregate particles also introduces severe discontinuities, particularly in rich mixes, where strength of concrete depends more on interface bond, as paste being more strong, failure generally occur through interface. Here you see the variation of compressive strength with maximum size of aggregate. On x-axis you see the maximum size of aggregate in mm, on y-axis you see the compressive strength in Newton per mm square. And this relationship is also related to the cement content also. So you here see the three different graphs. One is for 170 kg per meter cube of cement content, next is 280, and the last one is 390. So you see that with the increase in cement content, the compressive strength is increasing, and also up to a certain limit, with the increase in maximum size of aggregate, compressive strength is increasing up to a certain limit, and after that it is falling. So this is the effect of maximum size of aggregate on the strength of the concrete, and also you see the variation of the increase in cement content, how the compressive strength is changing. Now let us see the effect of bond strength. Since concrete is extensively used in conjunction with steel reinforcement, it is to be ensured that stresses are properly transferred from concrete to steel. This transfer occurs through what is known as bond between concrete and steel reinforcement. Bond primarily arises from friction and adhesion between concrete and steel, but may be affected due to shrinkage of concrete, which in turn depend on curing of concrete. So here curing of concrete also plays an important role. Bond strength is found to be approximately linearly proportional up to a compressive strength of 20 Newton per mm square. For higher strength of concrete, the increase in bond strength becomes progressively smaller and eventually negligible. Bond strength of concrete also depends on specific surface of high density gel. Cement consisting of more C2S will produce gel of more specific surface, and hence it will produce more bond, good bond. On the other hand, high pressure steam cured concrete produces gel of very less specific surface area, about 1/20th. Hence, this will lead to poor bond strength. A rise in temperature reduces the bond strength. So this is the effect of temperature, that increase in temperature reduces the bond strength. At 200 to 300 degrees centigrade, there may be loss of 1/2 of bond strength compared to that at room temperature. Now let us look the impact strength of concrete. Impact strength is an important parameter in many cases, particularly in case of pile driving or foundation for machines exerting impulsive loading. Impact strength is a measure of ability of concrete specimen to withstand number of blows before reaching the no rebound condition. Means the stage indicating a definite state of damage. Means at the state of damage there will be no rebound. Impact strength of concrete increases with its compressive strength and therefore with age also at a progressively increasing rate, because you know that compressive strength increases with age, so impact strength also increases with age. Here you see the relationship between the impact strength and the compressive strength. On x-axis you see the compressive strength, on y-axis number of blows before no rebound, means state of failure. So here you see the effect of different type of aggregates. So two type of aggregate you see here in this graph, gravel and the granite. So for gravel you see that the impact strength is lower in comparison to the granite, and for both the cases, for gravel as well as granite, the impact strength increases with the increase in the compressive strength. The relation will be different for different types of aggregate, different shape and texture of aggregate. Angular and round textured aggregate will lead to higher impact strength. Impact strength also reduces slightly when more fine sand is used. Moisture condition of test specimen influences the impact strength. So these are the factors which affect the impact strength of the concrete. Impact strength of water stored concrete is lower than when the concrete is dry, although the former concrete can withstand more blows before cracking. So here this way we discuss the properties of hardened concrete. What are the different factors that affect the strength of the concrete? So thank you for watching.